Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasho Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Vishnupad Paramahamsa Pravija Acharya Astora Shishyamat His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Vishnupad Paramahamsa Pravija Acharya Astora Shishyamat His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Anandi Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Naam Acharya Sridas Thakur Ki Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Sisi Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyam Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhan Ki Vrindavan Navadip Dham Ki Ganga Mai Jamuna Mai Ki Bhakti Devi Tulasi Devi Ki Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotee. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 16, texts 15 and 16. 15 doesn't have a purport. I'll just read the verse itself and then we'll go to 16. Text 15. The king will please everyone by his practical activities, and all of his citizens will remain very satisfied. Because of this, the citizens will take great satisfaction in accepting him as their ruling king. Text 16. Dridavrata Satya Sando Brahmanyo Vrida Sevaka Saranya Sarva Bhutanam Manado Dinavatsala Dridavrata Satya Sando Brahmanyo Vrida Sevaka Saranya Sarva Bhutanam Manado Dinavatsala Dridavrata Satya Sando Brahmanyo Vrida Sevaka Saranya Sarva Bhutanam Manado Dina Vatsala. Do the word for word. Dridavrata, firmly determined. Satya Sanda, always situated in truth. Brahmanya, a lover of Brahmanical culture. Vrida Sevaka, a servitor of the old men. Saranya, to be taken shelter of. Sarva Bhutanam, of all living entities. Manada, one who gives respects to all. Dina Vatsala, very kind to the poor and helpless. Translation. The king will be firmly determined and always situated in truth. He will be a lover of Brahmanical culture and will render all service to old men and give shelter to all surrendered souls, giving respect to all. He will always be merciful to the poor and innocent. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The word Vrida Sevaka is very significant. Vrida means old men. There are two kinds of old men. One is old by age and another is old by knowledge. This Sanskrit word indicates that one can be older by the advancement of knowledge. King Prithu was very respectful to the Brahmanas and he protected them. He also protected persons advanced in age. Whatever the king would decide to do, no one would be able to stop. That is called Drida Sankalpa or Drida Vrata. So the text again, the translation. The king will be firmly determined and always situated in truth. He will be a lover of the Brahmanical culture and will render all service to old men and give shelter to all surrendered souls. Giving respect to all, he will always be merciful to the poor and innocent. So in these two verses, the first verse was speaking about how the people will be satisfied with the ruling of Maharaj Prithu, and the second verse is describing his determination, his different qualities. He will be lover of the Brahmanical culture. He will render service to old men. He will shelter surrendered souls, and he will be merciful to the poor and innocent. These are very important qualities to develop in a devotee. So from Maharaj Prithu we can learn these qualities and how he developed these qualities. He developed, all these good qualities by strong determination. And what is that word called? Dridha vrataha, firmly determined. Firmly determined. With determination. Like in the Bhagavad Gita in the 12th chapter, text 13 and 14, where Lord Krishna is saying, one who is not envious, but is a friend to all living entities. There's various qualities described. He doesn't think himself a proprietor. He doesn't have any false ego. He's free from these false ego. He's equal both in happiness and distress. Who is tolerant and always satisfied, self-controlled, and engaged in devotional service with determination, his mind and intelligence fixed on me. Such a devotee is very dear to me. So these are qualities that if you want to become dear to Krishna, then one has to improve his qualities as a devotee. And we find that this is what Maharaj Prithu is showing us here, that basically the people are saying that he has these qualities, or he will have these qualities, and it will have such an impact on the consciousness of the people. Now, pure devotee, these are qualities of a pure devotee, and a pure devotee is never disturbed in any circumstance. There's sometimes we find that a pure devotee may be like, you may find him angry sometime, and sometimes you may find him very deeply absorbed in his bhajan and think very deeply how to please Krishna. It's like, the consciousness of a pure devotee is like this. See, when you're looking at the ocean, on the top, on the surface, there's waves, there's disturbances. But if you go deep down the ocean, it's very calm and peaceful, isn't it? So similarly, a pure devotee, his consciousness is like that. He's very peaceful. He's very peaceful, and he's not envious. And he doesn't become anybody's enemy. And even if somebody takes him as an enemy, then he attributes that to his past misdeeds. That famous verse from the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam 14:8. Tate anukampam shimukshimana. It's a very beautiful verse. And when the devotee is in difficulty or in distress, he just waits for the he just waits for the Lord's mercy, and he thanks that I'm suffering so much. Now I can surrender to Krishna more. It's not an easy way of thinking, because a lot of people sometimes when they come to the temple, and people come from different reasons to the temple. They may come for knowledge. They may be inquisitive. They may be in distress. For different reasons they will come. And but the best devotee is somebody who's searching for knowledge. And therefore in the purport is said that somebody is regarded as older in terms of knowledge. Because sometimes you're trying to find out who's the most senior person. There's different ways in terms of position in the society, in terms of position, in terms of age. But what about knowledge? So a person, as he matures, he becomes wiser, he has experience in this world. And he thinks all this suffering is coming to him because he has done something wrong in the past, and he's getting minimal, not the full quota of reaction for his sinful activity. So this is the consciousness of a devotee. And a devotee is always kind, even to his enemy. He's not, he doesn't identify himself with the body. He doesn't is equipoised, he's tolerant. And to develop tolerance is not an easy quality, isn't it? Is it an easy quality to develop? It takes time. Tolerance. Because if you're very tolerant, you can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. If you're tolerant, that's what happens. You can chant constantly. But, we have to be fixed in our instructions. We have to be fixed in our instructions. And we shouldn't be swayed by false arguments. This is the meaning of somebody who is Dhrida Vrataha. This is one of the qualities mentioned. Dhrida Vrataha means firmly fixed, determined. There's determination. And all these qualities, what it does, it just helps him to fix his mind and intelligence on Krishna. So therefore it is important for us to follow the regulative principles and become firmly fixed. These are the qualifications of Prithu Maharaj. A devotee always wants to get the association of the Lord, and if he feels he can't get the association, in some instances, devotees also think, well, better I don't live if I cannot see Krishna. So Krishna is in the temple here, and we can come and see him. Lord Chaitanya, in Lord Chaitanya's pastime, there was a king. He felt like that, King Prataparudra, that if I don't see the Lord, then it's better for me to give up my life. And Prabhupada, in a particular purport regarding, pertaining to this point, he quotes that verse, Satatam kirto yanto mam, yatantascha jidavrataha, namasyante cha mam bhaktya nitya yukta upasate. So Dridavrataha, that is firmly fixed. And this verse, always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me, these great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. So somebody who is Dridavrataha, who is firmly fixed, is always chanting the glories of Krishna. He's determined, he's doing things for Krishna every day. Even if he's not in the category of a pure devotee. And this is the symptoms of a Mahatma. Somebody who is always engaging in these activities. Krishna consciousness. So if you want to know who a Mahatma is, he specifically has to have these qualities. Like that. Otherwise, see, like Prithu Maharaj was going to be ruling the kingdom. And, he has to control the whole planet. But devotees also, in other kings, or especially King Prataparudra, he thought that if I don't get Lord Chaitanya's mercy, then better I give up my body. Or my body and my kingdom will certainly be useless. So this determination has to be there in a devotee, and in all stages. If that determination is not there, then he will wither away. We find that people come to Krishna consciousness, and after some time they have challenges. But having challenges is not bad. It's just that you have to stick to it. Just keep coming, being with the devotees. And then one's life change. And there's a very beautiful discussion, a conversation with Srila Prabhupada, where, it came to question time, and Prabhupada asked for questions. And so a devotee, he said, so is there ever someone whose determination wavers and slackens here and there? Is there ever a point where the neophyte devotee is in danger of just forgetting everything and tumbling completely back? Is there a time like that? Yes, there is many times like that, because we're living in the material world. and we are not, we may not be very advanced. And Prabhupada responds, he says, everyone is neophyte. He should practice determination, that's all. So if one practice determination, then he can be free. He can, he can be come back to his position. So, and Prabhupada goes on to say that if he cannot practice, then why should he enter into this association? One who has entered to determination that I must practice. So if he cannot practice, then why make sure that I belong to Krishna consciousness movement? I am initiated. I belong to this movement. And he says that's a farce. So therefore we must practice with determination. And by practicing, you will achieve success. Dhitavrataha. So that quality in Prithu Maharaj, which is mentioned in the verse and purport, determination we should all have. Then another devotee, the same devotee asked, can one develop determination gradually? And then Prabhupada goes on to explain that why gradually? Because when you take initiation, when you're taking a vow, no illicit sex, no gambling, no meat eating, he says, why should you fall down? Why should you promise? Why should you make these promises? Because, we initiate people, we encourage people because we want more and more people to take to the Krishna consciousness movement. But there should be some level of determination to follow it, to follow the principles. I said, otherwise it's just a big farce. You must have that determination. Then the devotee says, then we make that promise. And then Prabhupada immediately retorts, he says, you should not fall down. That is determination. You have given I have given my promise. Why shall I fall down? That is determination. I must respect promise. That is called Dhridavrataha. So firmly fix Dhridavrataha. So he'll succeed. But if we want to cheat, that is another thing. If we have no determination, it's best to if you're not sure that you cannot do certain things and you cannot follow certain principles, then don't take the vow. Earlier in the movement, Prabhupada was encouraging people to join because he's spreading the movement. But still he was concerned, that they follow the principles. Then he says, stay with us for 6 months or 1 year, be determined, then be initiated. If you are not determined, what is the use of false initiation? Then also there's weakness. And we should rectify our weakness. And but Prabhupada says, weakness there, you should rectify weakness. Why you should give up any importance to weaknesses? Weaknesses is weaknesses. Rectify it. Initiation means minimum, just beginning. So one comes and surrenders and then takes initiation, because lots of people have this idea that if I just take initiation, then I just made it. But that's the beginning. That's the beginning. One has to go further. Then the next quality of Prithu Maharaj is meant Satya Sanda, always situated in the truth. Sri Raghunath ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. So there must be a supreme authority. We must accept things from Shastra, from scripture. And there's a very beautiful verse in the 4th canto, which comes later, but I'll just read it, where it's talking about this point, about the truth. Always situated in the truth. My dear respectable ladies and gentlemen, according to authoritative statements of Shastra, there must be a supreme authority who is able to award the respective benefits of our present activities. Otherwise, why should there be persons who are usually beautiful and powerful both in this life and in the life after death? So, Prithu Maharaj's sole aim was to, in ruling the kingdom, was to raise the citizens' standard of God consciousness. That's what a ruler does. And he was specifically speaking to people who are not atheists. They're conscious of God and they believe in God. And Prithu Maharaj was emphasizing, and Prabhupada in his purpose emphasized how Prithu Maharaj wanted all his citizens to be God conscious. And you may have people who are atheists also. And we as followers of the Krishna consciousness movement, we rigidly live according to the injunctions of the scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. And in the Bhagavad Gita, which is considered the essence of all Vedic literature, there's a verse which says that in the 18th chapter, text 46, by worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is all-pervading, a man can attain perfection through performing his own work. So just by doing your own duty, you can reach perfection. So these qualities which Prithu Maharaj had, which we discussed earlier on, we all should try to determine that, develop that one-pointedness and surrendering to Krishna fully with determination. And the whole idea is to understand the absolute truth. That was the main point here in today's purport, despite developing the qualities, but is to be firmly fixed on the absolute truth. In another verse which glorifies Prahlad Maharaj for his qualities of having good character, being determined, able to understand the absolute truth fully, he had full control of his senses, mind, and he was kind to every living entity, he was friendly to everyone, like we discussed earlier on. But also he was respectable to menial servants, to the poor, and he was very sympathetic to the people in general, and he was surrendered to his spiritual master, the Supreme Lord. So it's important, like taking care of old people. Sometimes, as people get older, they cannot do so much, and as they done earlier. But sometimes we may have that expectation also, that we expect the same from them, when they were young, and we may measure them like that. But people get older, they may not be able to do so many things. It's like, like an old cow cannot give milk, then we may abandon him. So that's not what is mentioned here or discussed in this purport. Is that Prithu Maharaj, was eager to take care of older people, the innocent. And this is an important quality of a Vaishnava. A Vaishnava is automatically a Brahman because he has all the good qualities of a Brahman: peacefulness, self-control, austerity, tolerance, honesty, wisdom, knowledge, religiousness. And these are the qualities of a Brahman. And these qualities manifest in the body of a Vaishnava. Therefore, a Vaishnava is a perfect Brahmana. Yeah. But a Vaishnava is always determined to understand the absolute truth, like Prithu Maharaj, Dridavrata, determined to understand the absolute truth. And his mind and senses control, and a well-wisher to everyone, whether young, old, poor. And like the six Goswamis, they were gentle to the. They were very popular because they were kind to the ruffians. Also, so that's a very important quality. Even sometimes people come with, even to our temple, people come. They come from rough backgrounds and they come here, and somehow they associate with the devotees and they change. A Vaishnav treats everybody, in a kind way, and he gives his mercy to everybody. And as Prabhupada writes in his purport very nicely, he says, as the moon, they say, Vaishnav should be like Paramatma, Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam, Hidese Arjuna Tishtati. Paramatma does not hate anyone. Indeed, he is in the heart of a Brahmana, but he is also even in the heart of a pig. As the moon never refuses to distribute its pleasing rays even to the home of a Chandala, a Vaishnava never refuses to act for everyone's welfare. Therefore, a Vaishnava is always obedient to the spiritual master. So the next quality was Brahmanaya, a lover of the Brahmanical culture. He loved the Brahmanas, and it's important because the Brahmanas give direction. Like even in ordinary government circles, they have a group of people, unknowingly, in many countries, they're giving advice, like support services. Even in the previous governments, they had one department was just like the support services. They would give advice. So that's like the Brahmanas. Then we look at the next quality, service to a servitor of the old men. So that's also there where we were speaking about, we mentioned a little. But in a verse that I read in the first canto, we're saying, you are always the protector of the deserving living being, such as Brahmanas, children, cows, women, old men, and the diseased. Could you not give them protection when they approached you for shelter? So this is Yudhishthira speaking to Arjuna. And the Brahmana is always engaged in researching and giving knowledge for society's welfare, both materially and spiritually. Similarly, the children, the cow, the diseased person, they also require protection. And then the king or the ruler should be able to do that. Just like they have the system of old age grants, that's one way of taking care of the old people. So even in this, as I was saying yesterday or the other day, on Wednesday, the day before, on Tuesday, was that even in the government circles, they create employment. That is a duty. And they have different initiatives. Even in South Africa, like temporary employment for people for 3 months, 2 months, 1 month. Different areas, yeah. And people are employed because that is a function of the government. So it's certain things they are following, but lots of things they may not follow, and they may not be able to do to the satisfaction of the people. But still they're doing something. So this is also important for the government to take care, which like they do this grant system, but there is so much of corruption in that also. But still, it's being done in many parts of the world. Then one who gives respects to all. That's another quality that was mentioned in the verse itself, in the purport. And respecting others. There's also a verse which comes later, but this make the point. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the master and enjoyer of the results of all sacrifices, and is the supreme spiritual master as well. All of you citizens on the surface of the globe who have a relationship with me and are worshipping Him by dint of your occupational duties are bestowing your mercy upon me. Therefore, O my citizens, I thank you. So this is Prithu Maharaj. He's saying that he was thanking the citizens, appreciating them. So it's an important quality to also develop, is to appreciate others for their service or whatever they're doing, even appreciating materialists. It's not that you just only appreciate devotees, but even somebody out there who's doing some good work and good service, even if it's philanthropic, we can appreciate them. It's not against pure devotional service. So, and if we do appreciate, in that way we won't become envious. We give credit where it's due. Like that, we won't become envious. So he is thanking the citizens. And because why? They are worshipping the Supreme Lord. That's the reason. By their own occupational duties, by whatever they have acumen in, abilities in. So I just want to read that part of that purport. It says, it appears, however, that in the time of Maharaj Prithu, all the people on the surface of the globe were his subjects. Most of them, in fact, almost all of them, that's how Prabhupada writes it, were engaged in devotional service. Therefore, he thanked them in a humble way for engaging in devotional service and thus bestowing their mercy upon him. In other words, in a state where the citizens and the head of the state are engaged in devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they help one another and are mutually benefited. So then we come to the probably the last one. The last one. Dina Vatsala, very kind to the poor and helpless, which we mentioned. Very kind to the poor and helpless. It's a way, it's like, say for example, if somebody come and you just assist them in some way, then they want to connect with you later. Like some months ago, somebody came to the temple and they wanted to, the son couldn't finish the internship in pharmacy. So they was mentioning it, and then I was hearing them, and then I phoned one pharmacist to help them. But they didn't come. They just came to get some, to the son to get this internship, because he was for quite a while. There was some problems with it, some internal problems. But then just the thought of helping them, and I made some arrangements which probably they did take on or not, but still they called recently to another. They spoke to another devotee and wanted to come back and discuss further about Krishna consciousness. So if we just help people who come here, then we can bring them closer to Krishna. We can bring them closer to Krishna. And there's a verse in the 17th chapter of the first canto which talks about it's Maharaj Parikshit, where he did not kill the did not kill the poor, surrendered and fallen Kali. He did not kill him, but he smiled compassionately for he was kind to the poor. They did not kill him. And although he was dressed, his identity was hidden, he was low class, but Maharaj Parikshit was very kind and a compassionate emperor. But then we said if we killed him, then there will be no Kali Yuga. It wouldn't have spread. But Kali Yuga Kali was saved by the will of providence, as Prabhupada writes in his purport. Even like Dhruva Maharaj, we have read about Dhruva Maharaj earlier in the 4th canto. He was kind to the poor, the innocent. He protected religious principles. And he was considered to be like the father of all citizens. Just like a father, will protect his children. So these are good characteristics or good qualities of a leader or a king. And the people at that time, and even Dhruva Maharaj's time, although that was Satyuga, the people were very satisfied because they could always go back to the king if they had challenges. But nowadays, we may not see so much of that because people can't go to the prime minister. It's very difficult, or the president. Very difficult to see him or meet him. And in ancient times, they were more devoted to the brahmanas, all these kings that in Vedic times, as compared to now. And the state, the government should be very respectful to people who propagate God consciousness. And tolerate other people's beliefs and principles in religion. But in government sector, there's so many administrators as usual. There's a whole lot of it's overstaffed, and they fill posts. But when you go to them, to deal with a matter, perhaps you all be into government department. They'll send you from one place to another. It's a very common thing, from one place to another. And as everything you ask them, they'll say no. And as Prabhupada writes in the purport, as if they are paid to say no. That is, they're like, as if they're paid to say no. So we find, in the Vedic time, there were kings of this who had these good qualities, like Dhruva Maharaj, Prithu Maharaj, and it'll be nice if the current government can emulate some of this or develop some of these good qualities. So the verse again, let's just read the verse again and then we can stop. The king will be firmly determined and always situated in truth. He will be a lover of the Brahminical culture and will render all service to all men and give shelter to all surrendered soul. Giving respect to all, he will always be merciful to the poor and innocent. We will stop here. Any comments or questions? Or anybody to add anything? Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Busy.